Nqobile Madlala has been watching closely what is coming out of this Congress this whole weekend. She joins us now with the latest, of course, following the President delivering his closing remarks. And Nqobile, good to have you with us. What are we learning tonight?
Well, the President just speaking at the ANC Youth League conference, just saying that they are expecting quite a lot from this Youth League. You will remember that it is after 8 years, well, a little over that, since they have had an ANC Youth League structure that has been functional. So they're expecting this one to do more work on the ground. They've spoken about the fact that there's a lot of political education that needs to be given. They're saying that they're expecting the Youth League also to be able to get more membership on the ground. So quite a big task ahead. But I do want to bring in one of the delegates and also nominees that are going to be voted, going to be on the ballot, right? I mean, quite a big task that is going to be entrusted with you should you make it to the NEC. First of all, let's just talk about the voting. Quite difficult. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think it is a very overwhelming process, but also a very exciting one. I mean, this is the first time in 8 to 10 years where young people are finally choosing their leadership. The IEC has now left. They're preparing the ballot of all the hopefuls. There's 40 places to be had, and obviously more than 40 candidates. Once they've gotten that, then we'll vote by province. And I think for those at home who don't know, there's over 3,300 delegates who are voting. So it's going to be quite a process to get 3,300 people through. And then maybe by tomorrow, whatever time, we'll hopefully be celebrating, or perhaps maybe being a little bit more introspective about the process and where we are.
Fatima, I mean, we heard the President talk about the duties that are entrusted now with the ANC Youth League. You have been in the structures, you have been working on the ground. Tell me, what sort of priorities do you think should come forward now for the Youth League?
For me, the biggest one is asserting the youth agenda, the youth unemployment crisis. For me, it is, of course, around the revival of ANC Youth League structures. But what does that mean in terms of the lived reality of a young person in the country? And one of those big things is around some of the policy positions, but the actual governmental and private sector interventions on youth unemployment. Also big things around energy. Those are some of the policy positions. But of course, it is about building the basic unit. When we were entered or put into the task team, I think it was about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we literally inherited an organization that we had to rebuild from scratch. And a lot of that work still needs to happen. It doesn't end just because we've elected leadership on a national level. We need to do this work going all the way down to every single branch in the country. And there are thousands of branches that need to be assisted and really rebuilt up.
And what are you taking away from the President?
I think the first thing is that it's historic that we're here. I think even in my mind, I wondered if we would ever get to this particular point of a conference. I'm glad the President was here to sort of close that process up. But the biggest part really is this idea that the Youth League is fundamental to the renewal of the ANC. And it's something we've spoken about actually in mainstream ANC politics, that how are we actually going to turn the party around, whether it's around corruption, whether it's around state capture, whether it's around just general organizational renewal. And that was a big thing that the President was talking about, really in re-injecting life back into the ANC. If there's nothing that we take away from his speech, it must be at least that element.
Renewal indeed. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Fasiha Hassan. She is, of course, one of the people that are nominated and will be on the ballot. We do know that now the Congress, that the elective process, what is going to happen is that the ballot paper is going to be produced and quite a lot of people are going to be voting from the different regions. And so she is going to be one of the people that are going to be voted for, and hopefully she will be celebrating like what she was saying. But the important part being the President asking for the renewal and the ANC Youth League to be the voice of the young people.